The sequel to the best-selling X-Men adventure of all time tries to include all the characters and powers it can, but the story is random, the voice acting is annoying, and there are plenty of famous X-Men and women that either aren't playable or aren't there at all. It's still incredibly fun to play, but it doesn't live up to expectations.
It appears we both have a grievance with Apocalypse.
In order to stop the rise of Apocalypse, the X-Men and the Brotherhood have united. This means you get to play with characters that appeared as enemies in the first game, creating plenty of tension between the two sides. The game is loosely based on events that took place in the comics and throws together an odd collection of Marvel heroes and villains. Longtime X-Men fans will find themselves asking, what are they doing here, more than once? The main problem is the character selection. There's a huge list of familiar faces the game teases you with but never lets you play as, like Beast, Angel, Mystique, Sabretooth, Blink, Havoc, Blob, Pyro, Guardian, and Emma Frost. And several characters from the first game are now missing, like Psylocke, Jubilee, Avalanche, and Magma.
The name's Sugar Man, though I know you don't know. You know?
The voice acting is tough to sit through. Most of the dialogue is way over the top, and some of the boss speeches are painfully slow.
Amazing. How could anyone be so foolish as to enter the Madrai Temple unbidden?
And the conversations you have with the NPCs can get silly depending on what character you're playing as. It's amusing to see the X-Men introduce themselves to characters they've met millions of times in the comics, or ask questions they've experienced the answers to firsthand.
Oh, forgive me, but even you have to admit, it's laughable!
The game still has the solid 4-player mutant-powered action from the first Legends. It's still fun to pick your favorite X-Man or woman from those available, and addicting to build up their powers. There are added characters and abilities that keep the combat interesting if you keep trying out new people. From the first level, you can pick anyone that's playable except for 3 bonus characters you have to unlock. None of the levels require you to bring a specific character, so if you wanted to, you could take the same team through the whole game. To manage all the new powers, Legends 2 lets you switch them out in combat by pressing the Special Powers button and selecting them with the directional pad. This comes in handy especially when you're playing with 4 players and one of them wants to change their abilities.
I ain't even breaking a sweat.
Mutant powers create unique combos when linked together with another attack, and certain characters can move others around with their abilities, like when Juggernaut throws Wolverine or Nightcrawler teleports someone. Certain mutant powers also help you solve puzzles and navigate new areas, like flight and the ability to make bridges. And Legends 2 has a feature that the first one was missing: the ability to start a new game with the same character stats you had when you finished. But the most welcome addition to the gameplay is the power to take your mutant online and build a 4-person team. However, the X-Men perform best when they work together, and unless you know the people you're playing with, odds are they'll do whatever they want.
Don't wander off.
The visuals have been improved since the first Legends, and the new game gets more performance out of the graphics engine. The environments seem to have gotten the biggest upgrade. Some areas are so lush and colorful that you might lose your character on screen. The effects are also loud and bright, and the frame rate stays constant most of the time. But each character model still lacks definition, like they did in Legends 1. The cinemas are amazing, but in gameplay, the X-Men and the Brotherhood look more like cartoons than comic superheroes. There are also extra costumes for each character that you can unlock to add style to the team. Some classic outfits still need to be included, but most of them are fun to put on, and your team gets a special bonus if everyone wears the same type of gear.
Age of Apocalypse.
Each area is spacious and fun to destroy, but difficult to navigate. There's no zoom on the auto map, so it can get tricky to identify where you are and remember where you have to go next. Enemy AI can get a little too aggressive. When you're playing by yourself, every enemy will attack you no matter what you're doing or which character you're playing as. X-Men Legends 2 has the same dungeon crawling, mutant blasting, enemy smashing gameplay from the original, but a lot of the comic references seem to have been added just to be there. They crammed in a lot of characters and plot lines, but didn't put them together in a cohesive way, making The Rise of Apocalypse an adventure you can enjoy, but never really get into.